Barakim Habarim. Welcome to Messianic Moment Ministries. I'm Stephen Bruck. You know who you are, and it is the 21st day of January 2022. Well, being a Friday, we're going to talk about the Torah reading, the parashah, and in this weekend's parashah, we're told that Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, meets him in the desert after they have been 3 months out of Egypt. Jethro has with him Zipporah, and the 2 sons of Moses, who were sent to Jethro before Moses even got to Egypt. And this is according to the Chumash that was done back in Exodus 4:24-26. Jethro sees Moses handling every single complaint and problem that the people have, and recommends Moses assign people under him who will handle the everyday issues, bringing to him only those issues that need to be taken to a higher court. Thus, the Torah established the court system we still use today with lower courts and higher courts of appeal. The people draw near to Mount Sinai, also called Mount Horeb, and God has Moses tell the people to prepare for 3 days in order to be ready, because God is going to show himself to all the people to completely remove all doubts about Moses' authority. On the 3rd day, God descends in a cloud of fire and smoke on the mountain, announced by a loud and long shofar blast. He then proclaims so that all could hear the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments. The final command God gives to Moses in this parsha is that any altar to God to be made must be made of earth or uncut stone. No tool is ever to touch the materials any altar to God is made from. Wow, the 10 Commandments. This parsha gives me enough spiritual fodder to talk for a long time. Don't be scared. I'm not even going to discuss the Big Ten today. Neither will I discuss the Haftorah portion, which includes Isaiah 4:5-6, where we are told a child will be born to us. You see, the Chumash, being a Jewish book for Jews, identifies this messianic passage as anything but messianic, ascribing it to the birth of King Hezekiah. And that is probably true, in that Hezekiah did bring the kingdom together for the first time since Solomon, and he did rule justly, but within Judaism, we do not accept the messianic aspect of this passage. Of course, I do, but if you ask any non-believing Jew, because I accept Yeshua as my Messiah, I am no longer a Jew. But this topic in discussion are for a different time. What I do want to talk about is something I've mentioned many times, and I will undoubtedly mention many times again, which is in this parsha, Exodus 19:5-7. I'm going to be quoting from the Complete Jewish Bible. And this is what God says to Moses in that passage. Now, if you will pay careful attention to what I say and keep my covenant, then you will be my own treasure from among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you will be a kingdom of Kohanim for me, a nation set apart. These are the words you are to speak to the people of Israel. This statement should be of paramount importance to anyone who claims to be a Christian. Why? I'll tell you why. It means that the Torah is not just for Jews, but for everyone in the world. You may be thinking, how can he say that when traditional Christian teaching has always been that the Jews have their Torah and Christians have grace through Jesus? Well, true. Those who accept Yeshua as their Messiah can receive God's grace. But so can Jews who were, frankly, receiving God's grace long before there were any Christians. This commission from God to the Jewish people, which was for them to be God's own nation of priests, means that the Torah was to be taught to the Jewish people first, then to the Gentiles. Does that sound familiar? Maybe because it's what Shaul said about salvation in Romans 1:16. Salvation is not just from faith, but from faith that motivates us to be obedient to God. Just ask Jimmy. He said that in his letter to the Jews in the diaspora. When God commissioned the Jews to be his nation of Kohanim, which means priests, he was indicating, beyond question, that the Torah was for all people. After all, what does a priest do? The priest serves God in both leading the people in proper worship and teaching them what God requires of them. So if the Jewish people are to be God's nation of priests and God gives them the Torah, the only conclusion we can draw is that the Jews were to learn the requirements of God from the Torah and teach them to the Gentiles. God promises Abraham that his descendants will be a blessing to the world. We all know that. It's Genesis 22:18. So how are people blessed by Abraham's descendants? Well, they have to obey God. For God promises he will bless all who obey him. That's in Deuteronomy 28. So the missing part of this is, what does God want us to do to receive those blessings? That is why the Jews are God's chosen people. Chosen right here in Exodus 19 to be his priest to the world in order to teach the people what they must do to receive those blessings. God first gives the Jews the Torah, which tells them how to live and worship so that they will receive blessings and attain salvation. Although, yes, we all know we need Yeshua to make salvation possible. Then God commissions the Jews to be his priests, to bring the Torah to the Gentiles, who, through the Jewish people, will also be able to receive blessings and salvation, completing God's promise to Abraham that his descendants will be a blessing to the world. You see how it all comes together? So, if you're a Christian and have been told that the Torah is not valid anymore, or that it is only for Jews, sorry to burst your bubble, but as the song goes, it ain't necessarily so. The biblical truth is obvious. The Torah was never meant just for the Jews, only that they would receive it first so that they could learn it to be God's priests to bring it then to the Gentiles. And later, through his nation of Kohanim, God also sent his Kohen HaGadol, his high priest, Yeshua. Yeshua did not replace the Torah. He replaced the need to bring an animal sacrifice to the temple in Jerusalem, and through that replacement made forgiveness of sin possible after the temple was destroyed. The Torah and Messiah Yeshua are not exclusive of each other. They are both sides of the one coin, salvation. You cannot be saved without both. Well, thank you for being here, and please share these messages with everyone you know. Subscribe to my website. There's a subscribe button right here margin, right here on YouTube, one of these icons somewhere. You can subscribe. And while on my website, explore it. I have some photos and videos that are under the album tab at the top you might find interesting. Besides those, all of my books are available as well. That's it for this week. So, yithro and Shabbat Shalom.